Hello, this is Gary with GDS Video Productions. Today we are showcasing L.a.w.s, Laramie Animal Welfare Society, with Elena, who is the manager. Now let's check it out. I'm Gary with GDS Video Productions, and we have Elena here from L.a.w.s, and she's going to introduce herself.
Yep, so I'm Elena Vargas. I am the office manager here at L.a.w.s. We are open Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then I have a break from 1 to 2. Then I'm back here in the office until 6 p.m. at night. And then on Saturdays, we are open from 10 to 2. So come in anytime to hang out with our kitties.
And thank you so much for meeting with me and letting us
course.
do this. That's awesome.
On socialization, so I have Howdy in here, who is a 14-year-old diabetic kitty. She still has a little bit of a temper, but she's becoming a very good girl, especially after she was diagnosed and we were able to get her on medications. Down here I have Pepper, who is a very sweet boy. He just will not come out of his kennel yet. He's working on it, actually. He stepped out a couple of successful times. But he just needs to get used to his outside environment, and then he'll be able to be adoptable because he is just the sweetest thing.
He was meowing at me.
He's a good boy. He has little chirpy meows. And then here we have Aria. She's still a little scared. She got surrendered last week, and she was a kitten with us in, I believe it was 2019, so she's a resurrender.
That's a heartbreaker.
It is hard when they get resurrendered.
Do you have a lot of resurrendering?
I do see quite a bit of resurrendering. I think I've only been here since May, so I don't know if it's recently because of all of the COVID things. I'm not sure if it's because of the economy itself. We think that a large part of it has to do with the economy. This guy right here was also a resurrender, so this is Riot. He is a very sweet boy, and he's 2 years old. He's only 5 pounds, so he was definitely the little guy of his litter. I have Yunji. She has something going on internally, intestinally. We don't really know what's going on. She's been put through quite a ringer of tests. She has accidents all in her kennel, so her kennel's completely decked out in potty pads, but she's getting some outside time right now, and really she just likes to come out here and nap, and she just likes to look at the birds. She's a very good girl.
Does the vet see them for free?
The vets do not see them for free. That's probably actually our biggest expense is vet bills. Not only do we pay for all of the cats in the office, not only do we pay for all of our cats in foster, we also pay for all of the cats in our local animal shelter. That way we kind of have peace of mind that they're all getting taken care of, and they're also getting spayed and neutered before they leave the shelter.
So wait, you're paying for the city shelter as well?
Yes.
How much of a percentage do you pay to city shelter of their budget? Do you know?
I don't know that exact percentage. I do know that unless it is a pretty big procedure, we'll pretty much cover everything.
And when you say procedure, are we talking operations and stuff like that?
Okay, like a $3,000.
Okay, so when we're talking about the shelter taking care of everything, we're just talking not about the animals. We're talking about the vet visits right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was confused for a second because I thought for a second you're housing them there as well.
No,
animals.
No. So they have their animals and they are a separate organization. But since they are a city shelter and they're run by the government, we kind of step in there to help them out. They are technically labeled as a kill shelter, but any shelter that is ran by the city is labeled as a kill shelter because they legally have to take any animal that comes to their door. So no matter what, if an animal comes to the door, they have to take it in, and that's when it starts getting overcrowded. That's when those anesthesia numbers start going up, but we like to step in and work with them so that doesn't happen.
Okay, so let me get this straight, just to make sure I got this straight. So not only do you send your animals to there to be worked on, or is it just that you're providing the money for the care for the animals only for the city?
Yes. So we use 2 vets in town, Gem City and Animal Health Center. And so they will take their cats to either vet, and then the vet sends us the bill.
Oh.
Yeah.
How very nice.
We take our cats to the vet as well. And then fosters, if they have cats, that's one of the regulations that we ask fosters to follow, is to be able to take them to their vet appointments and to be able to bring them to their adoption meetings. And pretty much that's mainly what we ask of our fosters. We provide for litter boxes, beds, food, nail clippers, literally anything a cat could need. If we have it in the office, then it goes to a foster if they need it. We obviously take care of everything with vet bills. If a cat were to need something unique like a wheelchair, we would step in, pay for that, and then give it to the cat through the foster. She had like a calico kitten, a long-haired kitten, a short-haired kitten, a tortie kitten. She had everything under the sun.
Aww.
So when she came in, she was a little bit, she was definitely unsocialized. I don't think she really had any interaction with humans beforehand. So she went into a foster home. Because the foster home was a little bit bigger, she kind of had a chance to go into the corner and hide. She didn't have to really have to face her foster.
Right.
So socialization within the home just wasn't getting as far as we wanted it to go. So we brought her into the kennel. And since now she's in a much smaller space, she has just become the biggest love bug ever.
Flourished a lot, yes. It's more securing.
It is. A lot of people don't really realize that sometimes the kennels are what the cats need. I wouldn't say every cat needs to be put into a kennel. Most don't. But some cats really, really thrive from it and finally realize that they can be loved and happy and safe just being in a smaller space. So like she lets me touch her belly and pick her up, and when she first came here she was hissing and swatting, and that's completely normal for cats to do when they first get placed. And now she is doing fantastic. She is the best.
And she's ready to be adopted.
She's definitely ready to go to a home whenever someone right comes in and gets her. And she's actually transitioning to be an office cat at the moment. Our office cats are still cats that are available for adoption. Just being on good behavior means that they get to have more outside time than anyone else. So currently her kennel stays open throughout the night. And we actually have another foster cat named Muta, but he really just likes to sleep around all day, and then he'll come out at night and hang out. And so she, when we do traps and things for cats, we have a program called Trap, Neuter, Release. So sometimes like her, they'll get trapped, brought in, immediately go into foster. Sometimes we trap cats that are obviously on the feral side of things. They do not want to interact with humans. So we'll get those guys trapped, taken into the vet, get them spayed and neutered, and then usually we'll return them to the place that they came from. And that will keep out all of the unneutered males and females, and it keeps the cats within the colony a lot less likely to have more litters. With the females, and the males, there's a lot less fights going on. There's a lot less new cats coming into the area. And we see numbers drastically drops as the years go on from the colonies that we've TNR'd. With certain TNR cats, there are ones who get kind of put into that situation, forced to be around humans, and then they realize they like humans. And in those ones, we always try to get them adopted out into a home. If they're kind of, I like humans, but I'm definitely not going to be a type of companion kitty, those guys get adopted out into barn homes. And then that way they have a home, they have food, water daily, they're getting exercise, they're not having to deal with people on a daily basis. And then the people also get free rodent control, which sometimes can be very expensive, especially depending on the land size. And it's a lot cheaper just to get 2 barn kitties instead. So it's a really nice option for people to have when we do our TNR program.
Do you adopt out a lot of barn animals?
Here especially, I would say yes. For cities like Fort Collins, I don't know what their numbers would look like, but we have a lot of ranches here, and especially since we're kind of the bigger city when it comes to places like Rock River or Woods Landing, a lot of people come from out there and come here and adopt our barn cats. I don't know, I don't have the number on the top of my head. We definitely adopt out more adoptable kitties first, but then I would say barn cats are definitely our second adopted out animal the most.
Do you get a lot of animals dropped off all the time?
Here at the office, I have gotten quite a few. We are not equipped to take animals on like that on a daily basis, or really any basis. if an animal is dropped off at our door, because they are in the city and they're an animal being abandoned, I have to call the Laramie Animal Shelter. So the shelter will come and get the animal, and they're much more equipped to handle those kinds of drop-offs, because that's usually what happens over there. So they have kennels ready to go, available to take in anything that comes in, versus here I have to have all of the cats under certain regulations. We have kind of a system that goes here, so no matter what, if an animal does get dropped off at our office, they will have to go to the Laramie Animal Shelter either way. From there, we do work with the shelter quite a bit. We're not the same organization, but we work very closely. So sometimes from the shelter, we'll kind of discuss, okay, is it best that the cat stays here with you guys? Is it best that the cat comes into our adoption program? What's the fit here? We will work through that. But with the first come basis, the animal has to go to the shelter first. So I actually had, I think it was a few weeks ago, a chicken that was dropped off. So the chicken, yes, it was a house chicken, and she actually had a malformed beak. She was a very sweet girl, and she was one of the ones that did have to immediately go to the shelter, but they called us, we worked with them, and we actually ended up taking her back into our care. So it's not unheard of that we get the cats or the dogs back from the shelter, but if they were to be dropped off here, they have to go there first.
And also, I know we were talking before, again, how do you get your funding?
So for funding, it's almost 100% donation. We are a nonprofit, so a lot of our money does come from donations and grants. We have a few wonderful volunteers that have put a few grants for us. Obviously, grants aren't the most abundant thing ever, so we're not getting them all the time. So I would say donations are our biggest contribution money-wise.
And do you need volunteers all the time?
We do. We are mainly volunteer and foster based. Here in our office, I am able to have 12 animals, but in our care, I think we're around 150, 160. At our peak point, we were almost at 200 animals. So fosters and volunteers make up our organization entirely. We would not be able to do even a percent of what we do without them.
And most of the people who volunteer actually wouldn't work at this facility, they would work at another facility?
So there's two facilities that we have, one that's open to the public and one that's not. That facility is a little bit bigger, so they have a few more volunteers, but we still do have volunteers that come in and clean ours in the morning and in the nighttime. Sometimes volunteers just want to come in, get it done, go. Sometimes they want to take a few hours, let a few cats out, kind of play music and hang out, and they're welcome to do either. The kennels themselves don't get too dirty because, like I said, they're getting cleaned every morning and every night. It's more of just the tediousness of having to go to every kennel and kind of work it out. Can we pause it?
Yes. So earlier I was asking you about your donations, Elena, and I was wondering, what, besides money, is there anything else that you actually really need?
Yeah, so, you know, some of the stuff that we can always take are food, litter, that kind of thing. We can almost always take those. The only thing that we struggle with is storage. So if we have if you want to bring in 3 30-pound bags, we wouldn't really be able to store that, so we wouldn't be able to take that. But some other things that people don't really think about donating that we could really use are things like laundry detergent. We have a litter of 7 puppies right now, so they go through a lot of laundry and a lot of reusable puppy pads and things. So laundry detergent's always welcome. Puppy pads are another things that are always welcome. We could always use treats, catnip. Office supplies is another thing that we can use. Just stuff like that, things that we can definitely use in an office setting, but normally wouldn't get donated. A lot of the things that we get donated daily are beds, and that's another great donation as long as it's not too used and it's not too big. Our kennels here are pretty small, so if we can get beds that are around this size, that's perfect. When we get into the bigger,
it's about 1.5 feet.
Around there. When we get into the bigger dog beds, those are the ones that we don't need too much. We do have a dog program. Our dog program is probably 1/3 the size of our cat program. So everything for dogs right now we're pretty level on. It's just cats that.
And
we
I
are
was just about to ask
constantly
that.
getting in.
You have a lot of dogs for adoption as well?
We have around 30 dogs at the moment. A lot of them aren't up for adoption. A lot of the dogs that we have are the ones that are coming from abuse situations. So the ones, we had a dog that was running around for 2 months on a broken leg. So these types of dogs definitely are ones that are gonna have to be in foster for several more months and get socialization. And then when we decide that they're ready, they'll be put up on the website. But it's very rare that we get a dog that is put into a foster home and is immediately ready to go. A lot of the time, these dogs are getting surrendered because they're being neglected, or just like their behavior is just not up to par. So if we see a dog who likes to nip and things like that, we want to make sure that they are 100% ready to go for adoption. And so sometimes we even put them through training camps. We have a wonderful program here called Rock and E that we use quite a bit. And if people are looking to surrender dogs due to problems like that, we like to really recommend that place and just check it out and kind of get their opinion before, because a lot of problems can be solved pretty easily. It's a 6-week course.
Is that something that you pay for as well, or you expect to? Do you want the person who owns the animal to pay for that?
So for that one, we would need them. We are able to cover those types of things if the animal is in our care. So a lot of times, unfortunately, we do have to have people surrender their animal, and because they're not able to afford those things, but we do like to take care of them too. So if an animal needs anything and we're able to provide it, we do.
That's great. That's really awesome.
Especially for, so even if the shelter dogs need some socialization training, we'll put them through.
Do the city shelters as well.
Yep.
Wow, you guys do so much for the city.
We try to help out. They help out us a lot too. There's a lot of times where there's a dog running around and volunteers are working. There's not very many volunteers that are able to do something at the drop of a hat. So our local animal control does a very, very good job, and I can tell that they care about the animals as well, and I think that's why they're so willing to work with us, and we have a very close working relationship with them. I'm talking to the shelter quite frequently. Our intake coordinators are talking to the shelter quite frequently, so we stay in good contact with them.
And again, I'm sorry to go back to it. Is there the one thing you really need though is money donations? Money
donations, only because our biggest cost at the moment is vet care. I'm sure everyone knows vet care is not cheap whatsoever, especially when we help the city out as well. So because of vet care being our biggest cost at the moment, unfortunately money is the most that we can use right now. We are definitely pretty good. Over Christmas time, I think there was a sale at Walmart, so we are very good on small blankets and things like that. During the summertime, that is something that goes very quickly because summertime is kitten season, and it's really nice to be able to use those small fleece blankets for a litter of kittens and be able to rewash them. But if they need to go, we're able to toss them out. So that supply will probably diminish here very, very quickly. But right now, we're very good on blankets and beds and things like that. And like I said, we can always use food. If someone from the community were to come in here, I'm on my next paycheck, I need some food before I'm able to get some. I love giving it out to people. So if people are in need, that's the first place that it goes to. So food donations are always welcome here.
Awesome. Whenever you decide.
Okay. So when it comes to our adoption process, we definitely have a longer one than say the city does, but I think there's pros and cons to both. The city, you can definitely go through an adoption quicker through them, but they don't know as much as their animals. Their animals go through their building a lot quicker than ours do. So because we have the foster system, we're able to tell you if our cats are good or dogs are good with other cats and dogs, are good with people, are good with kids, which I think can be really valuable information.
Absolutely.
So for us, it is started on our website, which is laramieanimals.org. There is a tab that says Animals and Adoption. From there, you can view all of our available animals at the moment, and you can also apply for either a cat or a dog. If we have any small mammals, you can go on the cat application for them. So with the application, it usually for cats takes around 2 weeks to get through. We have only a few application reviewers, so things do take a little bit of time. But once we get the application in, probably the most important thing is to let your references and landlord know that somebody is calling. They like to talk on the phone with both sets of people if you have a landlord. And then from there, it's just about getting your approval. If you're approved, you will get an email just saying that you're approved. Here are some contacts to reach out to. You can either get with those contacts. I think there's a phone number. You can either text or call them, or you can just reply to that email itself, just saying that you're interested in a certain cat. You can even say, I'm looking for a cat of this color, or I'm looking for a super sweet cat, or I'm looking for a kitten, any type of kind of criteria, and our adoption coordinators will work to try to get you the best fit, and then they organize an adoption meeting, which happens usually at our office. Sometimes it'll happen at the foster's home, depending on if everyone's comfortable with it. But once we have the meeting here, you can either go ahead with the adoption, or you can have as many meetings as needed. Probably our biggest priority is definitely just making sure that it's a right fit, not only for your home, but also for the cat as well.
So they're all meet and greets.
They are. So there's no obligation to adopt whatsoever, especially if you're just filling out an application. You can leave it as open as much as you want when it comes to picking a cat. And we really like to make sure that you guys are connecting at the meeting level, which is why we offer multiple meetings. So definitely do not feel shy about asking for any of that.
Awesome. And just one more time, could you mention your phone number?
So our phone number is 307-460-3775, and our office is over here on 1104 South 2nd Street.
Awesome. And I'll post information about that as well. I want to thank Elena for letting us showcase L.a.w.s. I will leave all of Laramie Animal Welfare Society's info down in the description. Please don't forget to donate to the animals. Please hit the like button. I really need help with hitting the like button and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.